Hey guys, welcome to a very special edition of the Canada Puck Podcast, your weekly, but we're going to do a yearly wrap-up of what's going on in the world of sports, specifically hockey, and specifically other sports, and specifically in Canada, but specifically in the rest of the world. I'm your co-host. That was annoying. Oh my gosh. Mick, you can find me on Twitter at ProfitsMick. And I'm joined every episode by my lovely and talented co-host.
Grant, on Twitter at Fourth Line Sports.
Nice.
I just got to pick up on that fun, vibey energy. I don't know where it's coming from, because when I look back at 2021, I kind of just want to say, fuck you, 2021. Nothing really to be cheery about. Granted, we did get an influx of sports that we missed in 2020, so that kind of made 2021 tolerable, acceptable.
Yeah, it was acceptable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was just peaks and valleys. Like, there was just so much that happened this year, sports-wise and notwithstanding in real life. Like, it just, like, peaks and valleys. Yes. Even to end the year. Ending the year is probably the perfect metaphor for what 2021 was, and that is the NHL was getting super excited about everything going on. Things were looking good. Olympics were around the corner. Then all of a sudden, fuck you, no more hockey.
Literally. So since we last spoke, it was kind of the week before that Christmas break there. I think we said our goodbyes, and games started getting postponed almost instantly due to COVID. So, I mean, we have some wagers that were out in the open market that I'm not sure what to do with. I think I had to change my FanDuel lineup because some of the guys I had playing were on teams that didn't actually have matchups, so I switched that around. Yeah, it was pretty bizarre. Not a great end of the year, right? Things were looking a little bright, like Grant was saying. You know, we got Olympics across the world. We had a Euro Cup that occurred. We had all of our sports actually completed. They started on time. We almost had a normal football season, right? Just all those little things we kind of took for granted, and then just kind of, that last second, just when we thought all was good, we got football to the groin. So it's not what you want. And why I'm so festive? It's because we're having a party. This is our Christmas party. Look, I got jelly beans.
You know what? I had a hat, just one of those stupid hats that I could have wore, but missed opportunity. Maybe 2022 will bring bigger and better things.
All right.
But before we get to 2022, we have to recap the year that was. And as mentioned by Mick, there's a lot to debrief on, because for those true loyal Canada Puck Podcast fans, will know that we used to have actually basically two episodes. One episode was hockey, and then the other one was basically sports in general. And I can't even remember what the tagline was. Mick?
We're hockey fans, but first and foremost, we're sports fans.
Bingo, there it is.
Yeah.
So we're not here to just let you know about what the world was or what the hockey world was over the past 12 months. We're here to really shed light on our favorite moments across the sports spectrum. And as mentioned, there was a lot that went on this year, so I don't even know how to get started.
Great setup. Amazing setup. I think what I've done is I've kind of pulled up the Wikipedia pages at some point. We'll just kind of roll through kind of best moments, worst moments that stood out a little bit in our minds. I don't think we're doing anything broad. This is like just really personal. Like if I say the best sporting moment was X, doesn't mean maybe that's like the greatest. It's my personal or something like that, right? So I'll throw the disclaimer off the top. We also have some cards to open. You want to open like some cards and then talk for a little bit and then some more?
Mick, what Mick's talking about is my Christmas present. He gave me my box of baseball cards. Oh, we're matchy match?
I bought one too. So.
Matchy match. We got Topps baseball cards. I got the holiday mega box to open.
Ditto. So with this, it says one relic autograph or autograph relic card in every single box. So that means like there's going to be some type of patch or something like that. I got the Christmas edition football ones. I got a Mac Jones Christmas sweater card.
Ooh, that's fun.
Yeah. Saw some more. I'm like, and I think my brother pulled one too, pulled a Mac Jones rookie. And at that point, and I was like, it was like a hollow. And I was like, I'm not going to open the third box I have because it's sunk cost. So there's going to be a cool card in here. And the one thing we could do is we could do a little bit of a draft, maybe a team draft.
Okay, elaborate. I'm intrigued.
All right. So, or the other option is we pool all the cards together, right? So, I mean, you could take the Rays, for example. I could take the Jays, and then for the rest of the teams, we could just kind of flip a coin and say who wants like the NL or like AL, or we can kind of do like a per division draft, right? And then sort the cards accordingly. So.
Oh, and does this include the marquee rare or hologram cards?
100%.
You're such a gambler. Oh my god, I know that I'm going to pay for this. But, you know what? I think let's do division, because that's kind of a little medium-sized spectrum where you have a certain amount of teams. I'm even going to... But, that being said, time out. Any Rays cards are mine, any Jays cards are yours regardless.
Yes.
All right.
100%, yeah. Well, like, within reason, right? Like, if I pull let's say both relics are like Blue Jays cards or something, like you can keep your like Christmas sweater Vlad Guerrero card or something, right? That seems like rude to be like, I'm taking both.
It seems rude, but I also wouldn't put it past you.
Yeah.
That is agreed upon terms.
All right.
You still have naming rights, and in fact, one of our friends actually owes you some naming rights here.
Yes.
But what I'm really hoping for now is a Wander Franco Feliz Navidad Christmas sweater. That's what, like, you set the bar that high. That's what I'm expecting.
Yep. That's where I'm at. All right, so we need...
How many packs does it come with?
So there's 100 cards in total, so I think it's 10 packs, and there's like 10 cards per pack, so...
All right. You get first overall selection. I want to hear what division you're choosing.
What division? All right. I'm going to have to, unfortunately... MLB divisions. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at in terms of baseball. I want whatever division the White Sox are in.
You son of a bitch.
So
you
I want
sandbagging son of a bitch. I was going to say that. I was going to get AL Central second. I was like, you know what? He's going to go for one of the Glamour divisions. I'll take Glamour division second, but then I was going to go AL Central. But you know what? It sounds like that's where you're going.
All right, for two. What's your next choice?
I think I have to go NL West.
NL West, you say? All right. Yeah, that's a good one too. NL West. All right. What's your second choice?
I'll go AL East next.
AL East. So now I get two. Let's see. Who do I like? I'm gonna go. Well, AL East. We only get 3 teams, but these other divisions do kind of suck. Let's do a Central. NL Central. So I have both Centrals, and I would like. You know, I'm going to be a generous person. I'm going to leave you the NL East. I will take the AL West, even though I think the NL East. But you know, it's a Christmas party. You can't be mean at a Christmas party.
Wow, you know what? I was hoping for either one of the NL ones, and that was literally a Christmas gift on top of a Christmas gift. So thank you, sir. You are a gentleman.
I truly am, and I really hope I don't regret it. Oh, Grant's gone now. The video's out, so.
Kind of blinking. Can you see me now? No.
You'll come back at some point, so.
Okay, so since you picked first, you want me to go first? I guess this is my cat. Oh yeah, I got a camera on notification. I guess that's probably pretty critical to being able to complete this segment.
So the first card I pulled out was an MLB Star Ornament card, and it's a Luis Robert holo card.
Damn it, that could have been mine. Oh God.
Could have been. It's not.
It is not. Well. Man, this is so festive.
Alright, so I got all my packs out of the box. We'll do a couple and then we'll talk sports, guys. This just isn't in as much fun as I enjoy watching myself open cards.
You want to know something, Mick? You actually have another card. Another festive rookie card, in fact.
Wow.
Alex Kirilloff, first base outfielder for the Minnesota Twins. You want to see this one? Are they all like this?
They might be. They might be all like special festive ones. So, what do you open? Like a pack or two?
Yeah, I'll do a couple packs.
All right. Same.
Oh yeah, man.
They are all festive. Like they have little snowflakes on them. It's kind of cool.
Yeah. I got 2 here. I got a Manny Machado.
Okay.
And I got a Justin Turner, both of which are staying in my home pockets. Oh, actually, and look at this, a Ronald Acuna Jr. one.
Ooh.
Ryan Zimmerman. You don't want to see Ryan Zimmerman. It's no good. I do have one coming your way, though, and that is the Mike Moustakas, Cincinnati Reds.
Nice. I can't tell if, like, which of these are, like, supposed to be, like, fancy or not. Because they all kind of look fancy.
I got the last few here aren't really noteworthy. Coming my way, AJ. Going your way, AJ Puck, and you got another rookie card here. Brent Booker. What is that?
Brent Rooker.
Oh, and Salvador Perez. You did all right. You got
Nice.
a few cool cards there.
Nice. Cincinnati Reds. Who gets that?
That is you. That is NL Central.
That's a Tyler Stevenson rookie card there. I've got a Ryan Mountcastle. So there you go. One for Grant. Plays for the Baltimore Orioles. A Joey Bart. That's another Grant card. Coming your way. Plays for the Giants. Nelson Cruz. Everyone loves him. Gavin Lux. I will have to sort through all these at some point, so I'm going to have to keep that list. Anything else? Any other notables? We got a Giancarlo Stanton. That's nice. No, are these fancy ones? What is that? Gold glove? No. Joey Manho. Nothing. Chris Rubrick, Kansas City. That's it. So kind of that second pack wasn't as much fun as the first one.
I got I glossed over. I just found it. I was a little jealous. I thought you got one I didn't. JD Martinez, Christmas decoration.
Nice.
That one's staying with me. AL East.
That's cute. That's cute. Speaking of baseball, let's pull up the year that was. Grant, what was, in your opinion, the best moment that happened in 2021 for Major League Baseball?
You know, there's two things that kind of jumped off the table at me, or jumped off, came to mind right away. First of which was the AL MVP race. And that is, it was a two-horse race basically the entire way. Shohei Ohtani and Vladimir Guerrero. And towards the end of the season, it kind of became more evident that Shohei Ohtani was going to be the MVP. But I think to get there, and that is Vladimir Guerrero was in the running for the Triple Crown. I think he finished with the home run. And did he finish with the RBI lead as well? He took two of the three categories anyways.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty fucking noteworthy. And it kind of all got glossed over at the end because Shohei Ohtani did what he did. But I would say that for me, looking forward to next year, I'm really excited about what baseball, the young stars that baseball has to offer and what especially the AL East is going to look like. Because now we have teams like the Toronto Blue Jays who have spent years, at least the last, 15 was a playoff run. Did they make it in 16? Anyways, last 5 or 6 years building this homegrown team, and now it's their time to shine against teams like the Tampa Bay Rays, who always do what they do or have been doing what they're doing for the last few years now. The New York Yankees, who are on the upward trend. The same with the Boston Red Sox, who are on the upward trend. So maybe generally young baseball, more specifically AL East baseball, because I think there's going to be some entertaining contests to look forward to in 2022.
Yeah, and I just kind of throw that out. It did seem like it was super competitive, super fun right down to the wire, right? It was one of those things where Blue Jays is kind of funny because it's kind of Canada's baseball team, right? So when they're doing well, the whole nation kind of perks up their ears a little bit, right? Pays a little bit more attention, right? So the fact they didn't make the postseason, but they were close at the end there, just kind of helped to bring it back into the lexicon, right? So I've always enjoyed that. Speaking of worst decisions, though, I do believe at some point the Blue Jays traded. They kind of went all in a season where it seemed like they weren't going to make it. I just had that feeling the postseason wasn't in the cards. It was a little too late. And they made some big moves, right? They traded what was that kid's name? Austin Martin or something like that? And trade. Is that right? Doing since being traded to Minnesota. Who did they get from Minnesota?
Was that pitcher? they just signed him to a 5-year deal.
Yeah, like that hurts a little bit less, right? But they traded for. I don't care about him. I wanted to put other thing. Austin Martin. Simeon Woods. But I would
Jose Barrios is who they
Barrios, yeah. I mean, so the fact they locked him up to a big deal, looks like he's going to be kind of one of their top rotational pitchers the next couple years. Definitely hurts a little bit more. But I had this feeling that they weren't going to make it when they started kind of swinging and moving some of their prospects out of the pool for nothing. I wasn't a huge fan of that, so I kind of thought that was maybe one of the worser moves I've seen, right? You? Do you have a worst move?
The worst thing that I remember about this past season was the Houston Astros making the World Series again. That really chapped my ass. We saw obviously what they did to get to the World Series for the years that they did. And the part that hurts the most is they did it with Dusty Baker. Dusty fucking Baker as their manager. Like, I don't know. Feels like they deserved worse than what they got, especially with Dusty Baker behind the helm. But I do have to say, we're looking ahead. We're bright-eyed and optimist. I was glad the Braves won the World Series because the Astros just don't deserve nice things.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, if you were a kid in the 90s and you had TBS or something like that, like, you're probably a Braves fan, right? So, I mean, there was a large portion of and like, yeah, I used to watch those guys all the time because Ted Turner used to just be like, oh, you guys just watch my baseball team now. There you go.
Hey, yeah, same. I remember being forced to watch Braves games, and they had some quality programming on TBS too. Like they had, if we're going way back, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I don't know if it was reruns or live or new ones, but they always had that after school,
yep.
And that would always be interrupted by basically Braves games. So.
Oh, the number of, and like Chicago Cubs, right? We had WGN in our house and we had TBS, and it was Cubs and Braves baseball on all the time. So I was like, oh, wow, that's.
And those were shitty times. Like, neither of those teams were good then either.
No.
Braves were good at like end of the 90s was their last hurrah. But then the Cubs have just been, they were bad until 2015.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, cool. So that is a wrap on baseball. We talked about who won, so that's pretty exciting.
Hey, look at us go. Sports fans, first and foremost.
Yeah, that was it. I mean, those are the big things, right? The Ohtani kind of Vlad Guerrero race and the postseason. That was, right? So the fact we got a postseason kind of felt like actual baseball again, not like that goofy one we had the year before. So it was all right.
That was all right.
It was all right. I'm just going to click that tab. It's done. It's gone. I'm going to open a pack of cards. I'll do that first. Let's open a pack of cards. And we'll see what happens next. What did I queue up next? Riveting, entertaining, listing. I mean, I guess on the video you can at least like see that I actually am opening a pack of cards. On the audio, you just have to take me for what it's worth, right? So,
you could just be shouting random names, and people would be like, "Oh,
Cody Hewer." Oh, there we go. Look at that. I got my patch.
Who did you? Let's see.
Like I got a Vlad Guerrero. And it's a little snowman. See that?
That's cool. It's a jersey patch?
Yeah, it's a little patch of his jersey in the snowman.
That's fun.
Boop. That is fun. Lorenzo Cain. An Andre Giménez. I realize I have to say these names out loud. I'm not a fan of that, so. All right. Cool.
You know what, Mick? It's not the best card, but you did get a Mike Trout.
What?
Nothing special about it, but a festive Mike Trout card.
Cool. I've always wanted a Mike Trout card.
Well, that's yours, as long as I don't step on it. If you piss me off like you did when you beat me in fantasy football this week.
Grant deserves kudos, as he brings it up. He assembled one of the greatest fantasy football teams I've ever seen. He had 4 of the top 5 wide receivers on his team. 4 of the top 5, ladies and gentlemen. It was absolutely amazing. He had the best tight end. He had a top 5 quarterback. Absolutely just stacked. And the guys kind of dropped the ball for him. Kelsey got COVID. Cup only had a measly 16 points.
Thielen was coming back. So, yeah, I was undone by injury. This was the excuse that I'm relying on because I did like my team this year. But Kelsey was unavailable. That hurt me because I think Cole Kmet had to step in. Adam Thielen coming back off a high ankle sprain. I had a feeling he wasn't going to be who he typically was, and he wasn't. I think he had 5 fantasy points or something that last week. And that was... And I started Bobby Wagner in my defensive position instead of the linebacker at Foyle Alukun from the Falcons. And that was basically the difference between me losing and winning last week. But you did make a couple of ballsy calls, and that is you had who's the guy from the Chargers? Jackson?
Justin Jackson. Randomly sitting in the waiver wire, and their Eckler's out. And I was like, I mean, they're playing the Texans. The Texans must suck. And I figured in the blowout game, he's going to get a couple rushes, put up 100 yards or something like that. But apparently when they were trailing, he was also going to catch 2 touchdowns and rush for 100 yards. So big performance from random Justin Jackson.
Yeah. Jalen Waddle had that good performance on Monday night here, too, I'm looking.
As dumb as my season is, somebody dropped Jalen Waddle after week 1, and I spent 58 of my 100 fab dollars. So I almost spent 60% of my fab budget on him, and I think he was the difference maker on my team, right? It was that third piece, that big high-end wide receiver, right? And that makes a difference, so...
I looked into this earlier in the week because I was feeling a little pissed off about everything. And I had the highest scoring roster in more than half the weeks. This week, I had the second highest scoring roster to obviously Mick. Mick beat me. It stings. But I have a chance to win my money back. Well, you go for the knockout punch next week.
So you do get some money. So the highest scoring regular season team does get $100. So you've actually already doubled up. You have a chance of winning it. So you have a chance of basically making $100, right? If you win, get your buy-in back plus the 100. So,
well, that's okay then.
Yeah.
And you know what? We're all winners because this is a perfect segue into the NFL season that was. We get to recap last season, but also look ahead to what's happening in the postseason this year.
It ain't over yet, ladies and gentlemen. It ain't over yet. Best moments. I'm going to take the lead off on this one. I think it was Old Man Tom. We thought, there was this dynasty. One of the greatest football players, arguably of all time, was in our lives for a while, and there was a fallout between him and the New England Patriots, and he took his service to South Beach, just like LeBron James did back in the day, and he went to the terrible, really, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They had no good players, right? Like, offensively, they only had a young prospect named Ronald Jones. They had elite talent like Chris Godwin and your Mike Evans. He brought with him his old pal Rob Gronkowski, because why not? Leonard Fournette, former top 5 pick, who was amazing in Jacksonville, who just doesn't want to be in Jacksonville, because who would? Goes across the state. Why not? Top 5 running back in the league and a defense that would knock your socks off. But Old Man Tom, he did it. He took this rowdy little bunch of stragglers to the Super Bowl, and he beat, realistically, the Michael Jordan of football in Patrick Mahomes single-handedly. He arm wrestled him right out of the arena to win another Super Bowl without the great Bill Belichick.
Yeah, you grabbed the low-hanging fruit on that one. I'm going to stay in, and I'm not going to argue with you because that was hands down the best thing that happened in the last year in football.
Yeah.
There's not even any way to compete unless we're looking across the state. And some people might look at this as a negative, but I see it as positive because it's 2022. We're all fucking happy now. Everything's fucking rainbows and sunshine. Urban Meyer coaching the Jacksonville Jaguars was the best thing to happen in football, and it was the best thing because now he did so poorly, we'd never have to listen to Urban Meyer again. Nobody wants Urban Meyer. Maybe he ends up in the cold ranks, but not without some sort of breathing area or breathing room. And not when he does go back, kind of like Chip Kelly, it will be to less fanfare. So that is, we saw what Chip Kelly did in Oregon. He ended up in the NFL with the Eagles for a little bit, and then he went back, and everybody's like, oh, what happened to Chip Kelly? Guess what? Nobody fucking cares what happened to Chip Kelly. And we're going to see the same thing with Urban Meyer. Because we once saw how good Urban Meyer could be. Well, he basically just floated around, recruiting limitations, and accumulated the wealth of talent that he did. Then he thought, oh, I'm so good, I'm going to go coach in the NFL. And we saw his true colors. We saw, guess what? Urban Meyer's a bit of a fucking chode. Like, we don't care what Urban Meyer does anymore. He can go back to whatever university he wants to, but it will be to decreased fanfare, and that is what I'm most excited about. So thank you, Jacksonville, for hosting your stupid games in England and giving me a reason to get up at 7 o'clock on Sundays. But more importantly, thank you for hiring Urban Meyer and getting him the fuck out of my life. That meant so much to me.
Oh, that's very high. Yeah, suck it. Suck it, Urban Meyer. That's...
Yeah, suck it,
big
nerd.
Jerk. Yeah, so that's your best. Then what possibly could be the worst thing that happened in the NFL season? Oh, and I guess we have so there's something else that happens sometimes. You ever have like a gut check or like a gut-wrenching sports moment where you feel sick to your stomach watching an event occur because you're just so nervous you're on the edge of your seat? Did you have one of those for baseball this year? You're watching a game and it captivated you so much it like almost stole a part of your soul?
Oh, I don't know why we have to relive this, especially a few beers deep. But I will bring you back to 2020, and that is the World Series Game 6. Blake Snell was the pitcher on the mound for the Rays. I think it was the 5th inning. Maybe it was the 6th inning. I can't remember now. But he was basically twirling. He gave up one hit. It might not have even been a hit. It might have been a walk. But he gave up a hit or a walk, and then in the bottom of that inning, he gave up a hit or a walk, and that was it for Kevin Cash. He yanked Blake Snell. The rest is history. Dodgers went on to win. They turned it over to Anderson, who was dynamite in the regular season, but dog shit in the playoffs. They said, Anderson, come clean up this mess, and that was basically what blew the gates open. Kevin Cash did the exact opposite this postseason, and that is when the Rays were playing in the NLDS. I can't even remember who the pitcher was, but this was right before. Were they playing the Yankees? Oh, God. Do you have the postseason open? Anyways.
Nope.
Was it the Red Sox? They were playing the Red Sox?
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, it was basically the bottom of the, maybe 3rd or 4th inning, and Cash left this reliever in to just get tagged. So they ended up going down, I think it was 5-1 in that inning. Mm-hmm. They ended up losing the game 6-5 because Cash left this reliever in for way too long. And it just really fucking irked me because it feels like Kevin Cash is just it feels like he was trying to correct for the decision that he made in the previous postseason to say, all right, I'm going to leave the ball in this guy's hand because he's the best guy I have. He wasn't the best guy that you had in the bullpen that day. That was just the most convenient arm. And rather than stopping the bleeding, trying to get something else going, which he eventually did, and it worked because the Rays went on to, I think, tie the game before they lost it in the bottom of the 8th. They basically, Kevin Cash just sewered his own team in the 3rd or 4th inning, whatever it was, and it ended up costing the Rays a chance at the next round. So that was one of those gut check moments for me. Yeah. But what about you? It sounds like you got something.
No. Not for baseball anyways, but I think I had some for some other sports, so I figured give you a chance to throw that out there because I was like, well, I don't really have one, so I'm just going to move on.
All right. Do you have one for football then? Because it sounds like maybe that's where we're headed.
Like a gut check moment for football? I'll pull it up. I might look at just the postseason to see if something did kind of jump out at me. Usually they're kind of all related to... selfishly, what did I do, right? Did I do anything cool? Did I get, how did my fantasy football, how did my gambling go, right? So, I do think the biggest mistake, or the worst mistake, the worst thing that happened was, I've got it pulled up here. Look at this. So we've got the draft that happened this year. There's a couple teams out there right now, maybe the New York Jets, the Eagles, the Broncos, the Panthers, let's say specifically the Panthers and Broncos taking J.C. Horn at 8th and Patrick Surtain. Although Patrick Surtain does look like he's a hell of a player at cornerback. But it kind of looks like maybe Justin Fields and Mac Jones are above average first-round quarterbacks. And the fact that they had the ability to take either of those two players instead of kind of just scrambling around looking for the Teddy Bridgewaters and the Drew Locks and the Sam Darnold of it all. This might go down as one of those things where, like, this is like franchise-altering mistakes that happened this year, and you get to all remember it. So there you go. So maybe J.C. Horn comes out. I mean, he's hurt this year, so he's kind of a bad example, right? Patrick Surtain, again, looks great, but I don't know. Like, they look like they have some heck of some talent. Speaking of which, I'm pretty sure a couple years ago I was saying because of COVID and this pandemic, these players were going to come into the league and, like, not do anything. Outside of the quarterbacks in the first round of the draft, like, these guys have been, like game changers, right? Like, Kyle Pitts is putting up the most yards. He has the most yards ever for a rookie tight end. He's not getting the touchdown. He doesn't have the notoriety, right? Jamar Chase looks like he might single-handedly be like a generational talent. Jalen Waddle is putting on a hell of a performance. Patrick Surtain looks amazing. Micah Parsons might win Defensive Player of the Year as a rookie, right? Elijah Vera Tucker looks like he's just an outstanding offensive lineman. There's some, like, stellar names coming out of the top of this board here.
Yeah, and you've touched on two things that really, maybe two players that I think are worth monitoring. That is Jalen Waddle, and I get what Kyle Pitts is doing. He's great. He probably, my concern with Atlanta is that Matt Ryan can't continue to do what he's doing.
100%.
And who do you bring in to basically replace him? But Jalen Waddle, Jamar Chase are two guys who I am convinced are going to be the best receivers in the NFL for the next decade. What we've seen, at least recently, is that people come in, or receivers come in with hype and they do all right in their first season, and then they basically exceed expectations in year two. So to see what they're doing in the rookie season with a year of development, with a year of getting stronger, bulking up, Waddle's already at nearly 100 receptions. I think he's 6-7 off the pace for the rookie record,
Yep.
and he's got 2 games to break it. Like, there's no doubt in my mind. Jamar Chase with Joe Burrow, like, that's an exciting duo to watch, to keep an eye on in Cincinnati. So exciting stuff. Again, we're filled with optimism. Somewhat surprisingly, we are filled with optimism in today's episode.
There you go. Nice. Gut wrench moment for myself for football. I thought I had the playoffs. No, that was baseball playoffs. Didn't I have the playoffs here somewhere? Did I go away from that? What is this? What is that? No? Maybe this one? I swear I had, like, the... I don't think so. I don't think I had a football moment. Because I feel like the Super Bowl was kind of boring, right? Like, it basically boiled down to Arians and the Bucs were playing this amazing defense against the Chiefs, and Patrick Mahomes just couldn't really overcome it, right? So it was kind of one of those
uneventful,
100%. So that's, yeah.
I will say this: my one, it was maybe a bit of a gut check moment, but one of the, maybe we'll call it more of a turning point, was when the Detroit Lions traded for Jared Goff, and that is, it was a turning point for the LA Rams, because all of a sudden Jared Goff got way more respect than he deserved playing with LA, and we kind of see that now that the shoe's on the other foot. Like, oh, Jared Goff's this great quarterback. Well, he's not that great. And the opposite is true for Matthew Stafford, and that is, we saw what he did in Detroit, and now he's just been elevated to the next level, playing with a good offense in LA. So, they're like lifting the curtain a little bit. I bet a lot of money on the Rams to win the Super Bowl a couple weeks ago after they'd lost 2 or 3 straight.
Yep.
I was like, you know what, this is time to buy.
Nice.
And even last week when Stafford threw 3 picks and the Rams still won convincingly.
No kidding. Yeah. Only other notable, I guess, that happened in football, if we want to talk about that, was January 24th, Lambeau Field. Tampa Bay defeated Green Bay Packers. I think that was close. I think that was like a deciding game, right? They were without... Oh, his name's escaping me. Aaron Jones definitely wasn't playing, and their left tackle there, that big guy. Bakhtiari, yeah. I think those were like difference makers, right? And then there's those 2 kind of Hail Mary plays that Scotty Miller got, right? Those big touchdowns right before the half that kind of pushed them ahead. It was simple as that. I think the Packers look excellent. Like, they might be favorites to win the Super Bowl this year too, right? They're just super well-rounded, cool, calm, collected, but they will make mistakes. So that was and that was actually the same day, I believe, that the Leafs were playing the Flames, and Kachuk got the puck in the face at the end of the game, and there was a big kind of like line ball scrap. It was a good afternoon.
It was fun. I I will say this, though. We can't bring up Aaron Rodgers, or I guess the Green Bay Packers, without talking about how cringeworthy Aaron Rodgers is. Have you seen this guy? So, not worldviews notwithstanding, like, we don't even have to talk about this guy's fucking personality.
No.
But you hear him fucking lay it on thick with this toe injury.
No.
Oh, God, my toe is so... He literally showed his toe on camera. He's like, look how bad my toe looks. You didn't see that?
I don't watch feet video online. Well, at least not in, like, public, so.
Oh, my fuck. What a guy. Like, look how bad my foot is. Look how bad my foot is. And last week, maybe it was somebody stepped on his foot, and he's out there, like, laying it on real thick, like. And he's hobbling around. He's like, oh, God, look at my toe and how much it hurts. I lost a lot of respect for Aaron Rodgers over this year, and that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I was like, you know what? Fuck you, Aaron Rodgers. I hope your arm falls off.
Oh, wow. He can't win a Super Bowl with only one arm, so. Wait, is it the throwing arm?
You know what? We'll say non-throwing arm so that he could still say, I could do this. I could do this.
All right. Well, then maybe we'll have some respect for him. Let's speaking of, I don't think there's anyone armed basketball players, but there's your segue you're getting. I'm going to open 2 packs of cards, and we'll talk about basketball.
2 packs? Oh, man. I still don't have my auto that's to look forward. Oh, you know what? One of these feels thick, though.
Yeah, it's deceptive. Always like, oh, I got a pack of hockey cards because apparently they're at our Shoppers Drug Mart, and I was like, oh, hey. And one felt really sick. There was like a security tag. Like, it was a white card with like a security tag on it. And I was like, you bastard. Like, I put a card back for this because it was definitely thicker. And I was like, that's sneaky.
Oh, I see a blue rimmed card. I don't know what it is yet. I'm just trying to... Oh, God damn it. This might be coming your way unless we come to some sort of agreement.
All right.
It's a Kristen Yelich snowman card.
Nice. Good old whatever division I have. Where did I write those down?
NL Central.
Good old NL Central. I knew it.
Damn it. Ah, fuck.
All right. We'll have to see if Grant could sweet talk me into anything. Well, after a couple drinks. Yeah, pretty open to things. I got a Brent Rooker rookie card. Plays for the Twins. We got a William Courtois. He's a Brave rookie card. And I believe I've got a Dylan Carlson Cardinals rookie card.
Well, that was kind of good haul. I got nothing here. I got an Anthony Rizzo basically Yankees card.
Nice.
And then the rest are yours. And they're kind of like also ran players. Franmil Reyes, Patrick Wisdom. Well, you got a Jose Altuve, Yadier Molina. But nothing that tickles the fancy like this Kristen Yelich patch card. Oh, God, that feels good.
That's pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. Well, we'll see. Oh, I got a Mike Trout.
2 Mike Trouts?
2 Mike Trouts. This one had, let's see, Shane McCallum. Oh, he's a Ray.
McClanahan.
Oh,
you want to hear a funny story about this? Okay, I'll tell you a story. Just quickly. I went to New York this season with my daughter. We were sitting in the outfield stands. It was a blast. She fucking had a great time. I had a great time. At the end of she wanted baseball. We were kind of a few rows up from the dugout. I was like, couldn't get anybody's attention. At the end of the game, I was shouting, oh no, it wasn't Shane McClanahan. Who was it? It was Josh. Oh, God, what's Josh's last name? Anyways, I was like, Josh, she needs a ball. And he just gave me a hat tip. I was like, you know what? I hope the Rays lose. Fuck you. And I hope it falls on Josh's plate.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. You son of a bitch.
All right. We'll go ahead and open those ones. Take another look. Nice. All right. So with that, I'm all done there. Oh, no, wrong tab. The MMNBA. Cool. What happened this year? There was the Bucks Suns. That was kind of interesting. Little Chris Paul. If you like Chris Paul, he kind of was back in the zeitgeist, kind of relevance. Grant, do you have like a favorite basketball moment, NBA moment from the last year?
So I will say this: NBA is probably my least favorite of the four major sports in North America. I don't know what it is. I try to follow, but it's more passively.
Yeah, that's how I feel with baseball. So
yeah, for me personally, when I was watching, especially the postseason, one thing that I started finding myself rooting for was Chris Paul, and that is to see Chris. He plays with this edge. We talk about grittiness. We talk about intangibles on this podcast, and Chris Paul is basically the NBA equivalent of the Matthew Tkachuk. But he's done it with longevity. He's done it for multiple teams. Chris Paul was the guy I found myself rooting for. So to see him make the NBA Finals, I was obviously happy to see him get there, and I was just hoping things would get a little further for him. In the end, it wasn't meant to be, but Chris Paul, I think, got a chance. For those in his old age, old man Chris Paul got to show just how good he can be.
Yeah. So this last year was tough, right? Because we unfortunately they dropped the ball. The Rays looked like they were a really strong squad, right? We had the Miami Heat in the finals, and then we had the Tampa Bay Raptors this year. First ever. I fell in love with this team. I thought they were just great. They seemed really scrappy. They were exactly what I wanted in a basketball team, right? But we kind of saw, I think we're just a couple seasons removed from the championship. They had a hell of a season against the Boston Celtics in a bubble there, or a playoff series, sorry. They were so close. They had just amazing little moments here and there. But the team just kind of disbanded, right? The band kind of didn't get back together. And we just kind of saw them slowly getting old in Tampa Bay, and they were on the road. However, missing out on the postseason, the greatest thing you can ask for is winning the draft lottery. So draft lottery night, when I see the Raptors jump from whatever they were, 12th or something like that, all the way to 4th overall, and just getting to speculate. It's been a while since the Raptors were actually in kind of those situations, right? I listen to a lot of basketball media podcasts, like online articles and stuff. So just getting to speculate and kind of read through and parse, who are they going to take? Seemed like there was about 4 or 5 really good kind of kids to take this year. It looks like they have a star, Scotty Barnes, right? This big defensive player. Kevin Durant spent a minute talking about him after the game, and that's high praise from Mr. Kevin Durant, right? So getting to see the Raptors come home, see this young rookie kid that they kind of help build around, not to mention the other young talent, right? That's just kind of sitting there. That's kind of my takeaway. I'm like, this is the year we got Scotty Barnes. I'm happy with that. We can kind of build and regrow naturally, right? So,
well, it sounds like Raptor fans have a lot to be excited about. I know that it hasn't been as good of a year, and the East feels weak. It doesn't feel like there's a ton of room, but the Raptors have underachieved relative to expectations. They can't really get that momentum.
No.
Pascal Siakam, I think, was injured for a big part of the season. I don't know what else is impacting their success, but what's holding the Raptors back this season? Why aren't we seeing the Raptors from 2 years ago? I know, granted, Lowry's gone. They've had some Kawhi's no longer there. What changed?
Lack of star power, really. Kind of you're talking about, right? They've lost Kawhi, they lost Serge Ibaka, they've lost Lowry, they've lost DeRozan, they've lost, right? They've just kind of bled kind of the high-end talent, and the pieces they have are scrappy. Van Vliet's a really good starting. Well, he's a good starting point guard. He's not elite, right? So kind of what they're kind of paying for him, and his leadership just hasn't really kind of propelled them. Siakam being gone is kind of that big hit. OG's been up and down, and that's kind of one of my probably biggest disappointments is just that OG hasn't really claimed that pivotal 1A, 1B role on this team, right? So I think and it's just, look at the guys who are playing some nights, right? Pull up a box score and you're going to look at the names. You're going to be like, there's 3 or 4 NBA players, and then there's people I don't know. There's guys I don't know, right? I'll watch a game and there'll be rotations where I couldn't tell you a single player. So I think it's just that youth kind of movements. But basketball's funny, right? There's 4 or 5 teams that have superstars that have a chance of winning every year, and you kind of have to hope you get one of those, whether it's organically or they kind of develop in your system, right? So I don't think the Raptors have it this year, and I'm fine with that, right? It's the development. They've got Masai. He signed a big kind of deal to stay with MLS for a long time, and just kind of rebuild for the next one, right?
I will say that, yeah, you kind of alluded to a point, and that is when I see headlines around Malachi Flynn. Malachi Flynn's in the lineup. holy fucking shit, guys. Like, is this the point we're at, Raptors, where it's like we're celebrating a guy who was, he's a journeyman more than anything. It's not that he's the most skilled, at least from what I've gathered, but it's more that he has earned this right to compete the NBA. And I think maybe that is what's holding the Raptors back, is that when you rely on these guys, kind of like it was akin to the Oilers back in the early aughts when they had, oh man, his name's escaping me. He basically played like he played and looked like Rafi Torres. This is going to bother me. I'm going to look into this. But he was an AHL player who they promoted to the NHL. They're like, oh yeah, now that we have this grid, it's going to be great. And then it was not great. In fact, it was miserable. For 10 years, it was miserable.
Yeah, well, basketball is funny because it is a game of, unfortunately, it's one guy can make a difference, right? Like if you have that one star on your team, it can be all the difference in the world, right? So they're a well-balanced, mid-range, scrappy team, and scrappy teams are sometimes going to lose, right? So it's not like they're wasting anyone's prime right now, I would say, right? Like OG's still young, Scotty Barnes needs to develop, Van Vliet's still kind of in the mid-range of his prime, right? Maybe like early kind of prime days. So like it'd be worse if you were, say, the Boston Celtics and you have like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and you're just kind of squandering it, barely making the playoffs, getting eliminated, right? I think that would be probably worse from a fan base. So I'm quite content with where the Raptors are.
Well, yeah, and it's so I don't have a gut check moment for what I saw in the NBA. It was like, oh man, this sucks. What's your gut check moment? What stands out for you?
I don't know if I have a lot of those, to be honest with you. I mean, I guess for like that, this one, because the Raptors weren't in any competitive games, I wasn't sitting there like with my heart on the line for anything, right?
So you're saying that because you don't put yourself out there, it's really hard for you to get hurt.
Pretty much. Yeah, I didn't even get to the dance, right? They kind of broke up with me a week before the dance started, so.
You ended up playing Pokemon cards at home again. Don't worry, I feel that on a deep and spiritual level.
All right, so that wraps up. Do you have a gut check moment?
No, nothing stands out for me.
Nothing.
I was upset when Chris Paul didn't win, but for me, that's not a gut check moment. That was just the universe cock slapping me in the face as per usual.
All right. I'm going to open 2 more packs of cards, and then we'll get into the meat and potatoes. 47 minutes into this holiday spectacular, and we will talk a little puck after this. Or do we want to talk other? Maybe we'll talk other before we end with some puck talk.
Well, that sounds fun, too. I got a few packs of cards left here.
I'm
going to try and feel out for another thick one.
All right. Trevor Rogers. Let's see. So we got, Nick Madro rookie. Trevor Rogers, if anyone cares. No? All right. Let's see anything else. Isaac Pedreas. He plays for the Tigers. Garrett Crow. I have a lot of rookie cards in this pack. Holy smokes. Jose Altuve.
Hang on, did you just say you have an Isaac Paredes card?
Yeah.
Rookie card? Guess what? That makes 2 for you.
Nice. Luis Garcia. All right. I'm seeing a lot of hitters, which is nice. Oh, Lourdes Guerrero Jr. Anthony Rizzo. I feel like a lot of baseball players. I just don't know. It's less satisfying opening these compared to other sports. So
you get another rookie, Yerman Mercedes.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see. Second pack, and then we'll talk some other. We have some other stuff to talk about. A little recap. So
Jose, another rookie card that's from the NL Central. Jose Barrero.
Oh. I have a Francisco Lindor as he's running the bases holding a stocking.
Well, that's fun.
Huh. That's a thing. Strasburg. David Price. Wow. You Darvish.
I think I just got that pack. I just had you Darvish and David Price.
Daz Cameron and a Charlie Blackmon.
All right, I got Charlie Blackmon. That's kind of fun. I got a rookie card, Estevan Florial. He's Yankees. He's staying with me. Oh, Mick, you have a Kevin Biggio card coming your way.
Nice.
What is this?
Did you bring any snacks to your holiday party? Because I've been eating jelly beans and Toblerone.
You also have a Kyle Lewis Topps All-Star card.
Cool.
I don't know what that means. I've been drinking Apex Brewing beer, courtesy of my new fancy NWT Brewing. But that's basically the only snacks I have.
All right. Liquid lunch. I respect that.
I got a Blackman card, too. Tyler Glass now. Oh, that's nice.
Nice.
Oh, you have a rookie Trevor Larnach card. Oh, you're NLS. Or sorry, ALS. You got Shohei Ohtani.
Sweet.
And I got a Travis Blankenhorn rookie card.
Cool. Cool. All right. We said other, right?
We said other. We're moving on to others.
Let's do chronologically. So this year, Grant alluded to it at some point, maybe before we started talking, maybe during we started talking. We got a couple like not redos, but like pending tournaments. So we got the Euro 2020 and the 2020 Olympics that happened this summer. So from a sports point of view, just it seemed there was a lull. I know football or basketball, hockey went a little bit longer, but it was great because then we also got to watch soccer during the day too. So it's kind of fun. Favorite part of the soccer tournaments? I lost hundreds of dollars in gambling in daytime sports or in like events where I had no idea what the outcome was. And I was like, yeah, that seems like a surefire no-brainer. Stupid.
You know what? I love day gambling. And I think that was part of the appeal for what drew me to baseball at maybe a younger age. It was like, here, something to bet on during the day. Mm-hmm. And you kind of just picked up on the nuance and made it a little bit more special. And typically I do quite well with these tournaments, but I did not have my finger on the pulse with this Euro 2020 tournament. I was expecting things to go differently. One of the semifinals featured Czech Republic and Denmark. And if you put together a bracket that had a semifinal, or maybe it was a quarterfinal that featured Czech Republic and Denmark, you should come on this podcast because we need more of that type of insight here.
Yeah. No, agreed. Yeah, I've got it pulled up right now. That's it. Czech Republic and Denmark. Who would have thought that Czech Republic would have got 2-0 over the Netherlands?
Huh. Yeah, all sorts of fucky stuff happened.
So for myself, we're talking about gut check moments. It was a long day at work. Where were we sitting here? France, Switzerland. I had a lot of money tied to France coming out on top of that. It came down to penalty kicks. 5 for 5. 5 for 5 Switzerland went. France was 4 for 5. The only mistake they made was they gave some young kid, some young stud, some Kylian Mbappe kid, some loser, a chance to have it, just win it for his country. What did he missed? The only miss in penalty was the protege himself. He cost France a chance at a championship as well as me some money. So that was probably my biggest gut check moment, was watching that live on my phone while hiding at work at some point, just sweating it out because it was hot outside. It was hot in that stairwell I was hiding in, and it was not hot on my bank account. So,
you know what? I realized early in that tournament, this wasn't the tournament for me. I don't have too many gut check moments from the Euro 2020 tournament that happened. So I can't lament. I know the bad beats when you're sitting there nervously watching, but I don't have any moments of that. But it didn't end there, because this summer was filled with recaptures, and we also had to recapture the 2020 Olympics in 2021. Mick, did you have any horses in that Olympic race?
I almost feel the opposite, where I paid a lot of attention to the Euros, and then the Olympics kind of hit, and we were just kind of busy. Like, we were doing lots of long days at work, and due to the time change, because it was in Tokyo, so whatever the time difference was, I was missing things live, and normally I love those things. Like 100-meter dash, I skipped a party once. There was a big bush party coming out, a bunch of friends were all going to it, and I remember It was Usain Bolt, and I was like, nah, I can't. Usain Bolt's racing tonight at like 7, so got to stay home, right? So like that's something I like. I miss like big events in my life to sit and watch, and this one I was like, nope. I know the swimmers, Penny Oleksiak kind of kicked some more butt, right? Our Lou Marsh winner won some decathlon or something, start to finish, put on a hell of a performance. But other than that, I got nothing on the Olympics.
Damian Warner, I think maybe his name was.
I think that sounds about right.
I was excited, and so you're talking about basically you've summarized kind of how I feel about the Olympics, and that is like I consider myself a bit of an Olympic buff, and I followed the Olympics somewhat closely. Maybe like not event specific, but tournament wise for the last at least 20 years since basically since Nagano, so 1998. This year had a few memorable moments for me. Neil deGrasse winning the 200 meter was big, and he did so as an underdog. I can't even remember who the favorite was, but Neil deGrasse winning was one of those Canadian moments we can all kind of be proud of. But I was just happy. There was two things that made me happy. One, the Olympics went off kind of without a hitch, and that is there wasn't any negative headlines that arose from that tournament. And two, there is such a short gap between the Summer Olympics that we just had and the Winter Olympics that are basically like 6 weeks away now. And that never happens. And that is the delay plus kind of timing wise and scheduling wise. It just so happens that they're just a few months apart this year. So Olympics, the Winter Olympics are definitely my time to shine. I don't think it's going to be any easier to watch because it's in Beijing. Mm-hmm. But I think it is going to be exciting to see how Canada perform. Even like hockey notwithstanding, like half pipe's always a super exciting. Skiing, you want to talk about like riveting excitement? Let's talk about cross-country skiing and curling. Like basically the two slowest sports there are, but there is a ton of drama. And that is something always happens that it doesn't happen, that isn't supposed to happen, and it makes it fun for everybody to watch. And I can't wait for those moments, those 3 o'clock a.m. moments when we're like, oh, fuck, like I really want to bet on this Lithuania-Slovakia curling match. And guess what? We can, Nick. The world is ours. We can.
Yeah, no, that is pretty exciting. That is coming kind of so close in succession to each other, right? It was just... Yeah, I don't know what you do. I mean, I do think they do a pretty good job of the CBCs and the Sportsnet putting on kind of a full package where you could kind of prime time 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock put on, get recapped, kind of what's going on during the day. So they do a good job on the recaps. Like, I'm not going to complain about the broadcasts, but is what it is.
And I don't even, what is, so 2022 is Beijing, 2024, is that LA? It was LA or Paris. I always get this wrong. 2024 and 2028, there was Paris. Basically... Yeah, 2028 24 is Paris, 2028 is LA. Basically, the only two teams or countries who are like, here, we can host the Olympics. They're like, all right, when can you have it this year? When can you have it the next year? So that's how that ended up. So a little bit easier to watch those events in Europe. But before we get there, we get to get through the entire 2022 Olympics in Beijing. You know what? I'm going to win the lottery, Mick. I'm going to win money so that we can go watch some games. Because I imagine that there's not going to be a whole bunch of fans wanting to go see Germany, Canada at the Winter Olympics. No,
not without NHLers. I'm imagining that's not a very high affair. So, all right, click that. We only got hockey left. Speaking of tournaments that are happening at the moment, World Juniors. You watching any of the World Juniors that's happening right now?
Now that we're in the other category, that's pretty nice. No, I have not. I saw Owen Power had a hat trick in the opening game. Connor Bedard, what was it, 4 points or 4 goals in the Austria win? So basically the two guys that you're told, here, keep it on. These guys are living up to the hype early. Personally, I haven't sat down and watched anything. I think they get, is it Germany tonight?
Yeah.
Germany tonight.
Yeah, that's on the docket for tonight. I'm going to throw that on the TV, try and take in a little bit of that. But last night we took the puppy to the vet about 4:30, about an hour in appointment, ran out to pick him up, and it was like, wait, so by 6 o'clock they were already leading. It was like 6-0, and I watched a movie instead because... Also, Canada-Austria, I saw the live line. I took Austria plus 7.5 goals for 3-1 odds, and I was like, 7.5 goals? Like, come on, what? Huh, I can't believe Canada covered. That was amazing.
the old 7.5. When you're getting into teaser territory, that's when you know it's like, all right, this isn't really football or hockey anymore.
Well, that's kind of like almost. I don't know. I probably like a love-hate relationship with the World Juniors. Right, I can get into it and have a lot of fun, but there's something about the old men they have on TSN yelling about these like 16, 17, 18-year-old boys and just kind of like just berating them, and like, or they're in love with them, right? Like it's creepy. It's either like you're yelling at a kid or you're like, wow,
that's crossing the line.
Have you seen that Jordan Eberle? Oh, he looks good. And I'm like, Craig Button, that is strange what you're doing right now, my friend. So yeah.
Just thank God they got rid of Pierre Maguire. At least we can agree on that. Pierre Maguire is no longer something we have to deal with. So thank you.
So I do have a love-hate. Like, again, I don't want to crucify anyone if they like the World Juniors tournament and they watch it all the time, but like TSN's broadcast mentality of like hyping up these poor kids, right? Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, what the hell is wrong with you?
What the hell is wrong with you? So, yeah, cool. It's Canada, Germany tonight. I'm going to open one more pack of cards, and then we can talk about the year that was. And so I have 2 packs left after this. I figured that's like pretty good timing, right?
That's all right, yeah.
All right, I might even finish my beer after this. Then we'll go from there. This last year of hockey, notwithstanding kind of this fall, it's kind of turning into, might be a elongated spring, the way things are kind of going. I think it was maybe one of the best hockey seasons of all time. It was great. Post-pandemic, we were looking for a friend, someone to talk to. Me and Grant got to talk every single week, specifically about Canada in its own division. It was amazing. The Scotia North Division. That's gonna be one of those memories. Like, honestly, when I look back, kind of just like hockey fandom, it's gonna stick with me for months. Every game had such an emotional impact. They were all super important. We had been denied hockey. It seemed like for so long in kind of this purest form, and we were getting it day in, day out. Yeah, there was no fans, right? It was kind of a little goofy. It ended kind of strangely, right? Like the whole bubble, and like you didn't really see the other teams until the finals. Montreal Canadiens randomly were in the Stanley Cup Finals. Like, what the heck was going on, right? But I don't know. I think my favorite part was just that whole. Honestly, this podcast was probably the highlight of my year. Was just getting to do that with you, talk about like specifically Canadian things, something we got to talk about all the time. I thought that was just kind of great, right? That's something I'm fondly looking back on. So,
you know what? I will say this, and that is that year did rekindle my passion for hockey. And that is seeing an all-Canadian matchup basically all year was something that was really fun to watch. The one thing that sticks out for me, obviously I'm an Oilers fan, but the fallout from the Matthew Tkachuk incident against the Oilers, and that is he did all that goofy shit, hit Connor McDavid a few times, wouldn't fight Zach Kassian, cheap shot at him. Next thing you know, the next time those teams played, when Tkachuk answered the bell against Kassian, everybody thought it was going to happen right off the opening draw. Everybody's sitting there patiently, but then it was ended up. Apparently, the way it went was that Zach Kassian said, "Give it some more thought, kid, before you actually do this." They waited about 9 minutes. They ended up having to go in the defensive end. That was one of the personal highlights for me last year. It wasn't a lot to be excited about, but one of those memories that stuck with me from last season, podcast recording notwithstanding, obviously passion notwithstanding, was the Matthew Tkachuk and Zach Kassian fight. I enjoyed that.
And I mean, I don't like Matthew Tkachuk. I don't want to say nice things about him. I do kind of like how he took a heel turn last year in like a Ric Flair-esque style. Like, all he was missing was the robes and like the boa python, like the big like feathery boas around his neck, had a catchphrase. Like that's kind of what he was missing, right? Like, he seems like a real arguable pain in the ass. However, though, I did hear that there was like Matthew Tkachuk, and it was like a Dubé or something, and a draft pick for Jack Eichel. And the fact that Flames management is so hell-bent on keeping this fan favorite heel of the league on your team over Jack Eichel, guys, your trade history is just horrendous. No, we're not going to give up a first for Marc-Andre Fleury. What a waste. What's he ever going to do? Stupid 1920s New York Calgarians. Marc-Andre Fleury, that's old news. We don't talk about that anymore. We talk about our goalies that have dick names, like Chad Johnson and who's the other one? Elliot Moose. He's hung like a moose.
You know who doesn't have who has an underrated name? We're going other. This is other category, but it was it should have been NFL. There was an Iowa quarterback named C.J. Bethard, but it's pronounced it's written Beathard. So if his first name was Cock Johnson Beathard, who's gonna beat that kid? No one's gonna take a run at Cock Johnson Beathard.
So one of the things you were talking about, rekindling that childish kind of wonder you had with sports. I ended up buying, just because I was stuck at home, right? I think I was sequestered at home for a big chunk of last year, so I was literally killing the hours watching TV. I got into sports games again and got into a Madden franchise and definitely made it was a Johnson Beathard as some type of what was I, a quarterback or something? I was Johnson Beathard, and I was I made it, guys.
Well, that's exactly what we need.
Yeah. Richard, or maybe it was Richard. That's what it was. So it was Richard Beathard.
Hey, you want to know we had a theme night the other year. Maybe not. Yeah, it was. Yeah, maybe it was this year. I can't remember. Anyways, Richard Rocketbottom was my alter ego that night. So Dick Rocketbottom.
Nice.
I felt that was a pretty good one, too.
It's not bad. So cards that I pulled. I didn't get to those. Jake Cronenworth, second baseman, first baseman for the Padres. Tops.
Ended up playing a lot of shortstop last year when they moved Tatis Jr. to right field.
Luis Campusano, catcher for the Padres. A couple of rookies here. Jonathan India for the Reds. What other ones did I see? Tariq Skabul, pitcher for the Lions. I got a Tyler Glass now. Nice. Trevor Larnach, Twins. No. Shatani. Travis Blakenhorn for the Mets. And a Marcus Simeon for the Jays.
Yeah, I pulled a Bo Bichette for you, and then there was also, let's see here, 2 rookie cards. Dylan Carlson with the Cardinals, and Spencer Howard with the Rangers.
Nice.
And I have a trade proposition.
Oh shit!
Breaking. We don't get to break a lot of news here, but we have a breaking trade proposition.
Well, unless it's random mid-season, and I'm telling Grant about all this cool stuff that's happening in hockey.
Yeah, we're all busy.
Yeah,
I will trade you the rest of the AL East. So that is every team. So basically, it will be the Orioles, Yankees, and Red Sox for this Christian Yelich card.
Do I also get your Christmas ornament star? Because I don't want it. I will accept that trade. I will accept.
No, you know what? I'm going to throw in JD Martinez.
I don't want JD Martinez. You keep him.
No, you get JD Martinez.
No, I'm good. So I did open another pack while we were just sitting here. I got a Gerardo Permato. He's for the Diamondbacks. I got a Vlad Guerrero. I saw my first Fernando Tatis. I was just thinking, I haven't seen any Tatis cards. That's sad. What other rookie ones? DJ LeMahieu, Sam Huff, rookie for the Rangers. Christian Yelich. There we go. So I get him. Victor Gonzalez. Looks like a pitcher for the Dodgers. So it's not bad. I'm down to one last pack. I like my Vlad Guerrero. And yes, so I accept that trade, by the way. You can keep your little star and your little Christian Yelich.
Well, you got some Anthony Rizzo, Giancarlo Stanton, Chris Sale, Estevan Florial, rookie card, Anthony Rizzo, Aaron Judge and DJ LeMahieu coming your way.
Nice.
So, good. I would say a fair trade.
I kind of like this because now afterwards, instead of just putting this pile, I get to go through and make little stacks and sort through all the cards. I love sorting cards, so...
Maybe we should start a card business. Maybe this is our calling. This is going to be the podcast that starts it all for us.
Yeah, it's. I've thought about it a couple times because I really do enjoy that. So, COVID, hockey. That was kind of it, eh? Worst. Okay, so we talked kind of about best. What about our worst hockey moment? What do you have a worst moment?
the first thing that came to mind is that John Tavares had hit in the postseason, and that kind of turned the tide. I didn't really turn the tide, no, but it was one of those like, what the hell did I just watch moments? And to see him basically convulsing on the ice was like, you don't really like to see that.
Yeah, I was thinking kind of like worst, like, do I want to say kind of Game 5 Leafs Canadians? No, because I feel like at that part I started already kind of hedging my bets emotionally on the Canadians, right? So at that point, like by Game 7, I had something, it was something stupid. They were like 2.5 to 1 favorites to win, and I might have had like $100 on it. So when they were down like 2-0 in 5 minutes, I was like, well, like it's better to lose now than lose later, and my hopes got up or something, right? So, but yeah, that John Tavares. You want to talk about just gut check moments? Again, I don't know what my worst is. That is horrific, right? And the fact that they showed so much, and it didn't get to me so much the hits or him laying on the ice. It was when he started to try and get up, and he just like got ragdolled by nothing, right? Kind of one of those just moments you wish you hadn't seen. It's just, I don't know, rough to see, that's for sure. So, do you have like a gut check moment yourself? Something that like kind of just took your breath away?
What took my breath away? You know what, Vic? You take my breath away every week.
Hey. And then do I have like a worst moment? I kind of talked about it, right? Like whoever didn't pull the trigger on Jack Eichel, you think you're going to regret it, right? Like you didn't have to give up much. Lord knows Vegas did not give up much, right? Bring him into the facility, make him feel like $1 million. That guy's a winner. Well, he's not a winner. He's a very talented player, right? So if you have a backbone of some teams that actually can do something for you, it's just going to show, right? Other than that, no. I mean, we saw lots of cool things, right? We saw the birth of a brand new hockey team again, just a couple years later, right? We saw the Seattle Kraken do their expansion draft and act more like an expansion team should. I don't know what the heck Vegas did, what kind of crack they gave those guys. Like, I still don't think they should be as good as they are now that they've kind of used that cap space to their advantage. Actually, you ever looked at the Seattle Kraken's cap space, like cap friendly? Like, how are they doing?
I think they're doing all right because, like, right off the top of my head, other than signing Philip Grubauer, they don't really. Mark Giordano might be worth a whole bunch, but otherwise, I can't think of a player on that roster where I'm like, they're overpaid for him.
Like $7.5 million in cap space. Oh, I see. The page is like, I can't see. Why can't I see how far it goes? Ugh. Oh, no, it's too far. Yeah, like really after next year, they don't have a lot going on. They have a lot of UFAs, a lot of RFAs coming up, right? Looks like Grubauer, and they have some defenseman that's locked up. Jamie Oleksiak, 5-year deal. That's kind of their longest tenured player at this point. Same with Jaden Schwartz. Whew, got into my head. I would not have been able to tell you that Jordan Eberle, speaking of the World Junior superstar, was a Seattle Kraken.
I didn't know because my laptop died on the side here. But I did know because I have Jordan Eberle on the on my FanDuel roster for tonight. I know we're not doing the usual stuff, but I like that game to go over, and I like Jordan Eberle. He basically does it all. He hasn't missed a beat. He's one of those, I don't want to say underrated, but maybe underappreciated, if those can be differentiated. Underappreciated forwards. He does everything right, so I'm not going to Craig Button all over the mic or Pierre Maguire all over him like we would typically expect people to do. But I will say that Jordan Eberle is a good hockey player.
Nice. And while we were talking at some point, I opened my last pack of cards. I got a cool Francisco Lindor and rookie Brent Honeywell Jr., pitcher for
the Rays.
So,
yep, that's coming my way.
Sweet, yo. Anything else? No, I already bragged about my Mac Jones polls, so that's what I got going on in my life.
That was the whole premise for this. Is like, Grant, you want to record a podcast with me so I can talk about my Mac Jones rookie cards?
Whoa! You wanted to do this before.
Yes, I did want to do this. It's always fun to look back, especially in a year like now where we spent a lot of time, maybe more time than usual, talking about sports, appreciating
Well,
sports.
and just for my own reference, I mean, as I'm kind of sitting here talking, like thinking back, I wonder if because I was sequestered at home and I watched a lot of hockey, right? Like I watched 2 to 3, maybe 4 games a week kind of thing, right? Like a lot of hockey from my point of view anyways. Like outside of hockey night in Canada, it would be like Tuesday night watching a hockey game. Just because I was like sequestered at home, felt like I needed kind of something to do, something to talk about. I wonder if that's why I kind of took a bit of a break there. Like when it was summer out and it was nice, we actually could go outside. Just after feeling like I was like stuck at home for so long, I wonder if that's maybe why I like didn't follow up as much as I did in the Olympics or something like that. So
Yeah, and it's kind of tough too, especially with the sporting events being what they were over the summer, and that is like just one thing after the other. It felt like it probably diminished it a little bit, made it a little harder to follow along. But you know what's not hard to follow along? Our Babe of the Week. And
did you say your FanDuel lineup? Do you want to like tell that?
No, my laptop died. I know. So if off the top of my head, I had Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl. The Blues are terrible. I don't know why everybody loves the Blues. They've just been dog shit, but they keep winning games. It's unsustainable. Jordan Eberle. Oh, man. Henry Joki Harju with the Sabres.
Yeah.
And the goalie, Pekka Ulonen. I don't know. I like the Sabres tonight, too. Plus money underdogs against the Devils, who are just like one of the worst road teams in the league.
Cool.
That's all I can remember off the top of my head.
All right. Apparently, Adam Larson also plays for the Kraken, so there you go.
Yeah, Adam Larson does. Oh, Tyson Barrie. I also have Tyson Barrie with the Oilers.
Cool.
Darnell Nurse isn't available. Tyson Barrie's going to get some power play time. Feels like the right side to be on.
All right. So before I distracted you, I believe what you were alluding to was our Babe of the Week, which potentially could be, is this our Babe of the Year?
You know what? This lady is deserving of our Babe of the Year.
Wow.
And sometimes I feel bad because I don't know if I've used this lady already. There's a lot of sexy ladies running through upstairs. This one, oh God, this one is taking up most of the time these days. And this is Montse Rura, and that is MONTSE. I think it's __ ROURA. Considers herself a bit of a fashion model, but I consider her more than that. I consider her the love of my life and somebody who you should all pay a little bit more attention to. Mick, I will direct you to the 9th picture on the page, and that is the pink bikini. Every part of this is just what we deserved in 2021.
The zipper bottom I have a lot of questions about, but other than that, it's nice. Yeah.
It's for tan lines, you ignorant fuck.
Tan lines, yes, of course. Because that would be, I was like, oh, that is disgusting. You have tan lines? I'm never saying that. So
that's the difference between me loving and not loving you. Oh, you have vagina tan lines? Not for me.
No, thank you. I'm good. Awesome.
Montse Rura. She's our babe of the year.
Schwing. Went out with a banger on that one, so that's nice. So there you go. So look at this. We got final Seattle Kraken cap friendly page pulled up. Two buddies just talking, having some drinks. Baseball cards were opened.
Christian Yelich patch cards were won, and then traded for
Subsequently. There you go. Nice. Well, I mean, I just really wanted. I had a feeling that there was gonna be a Vlad Guerrero. You know what? Those guys kind of sucked. Like, there was only that one patch, and the rest were just, like, base stuff, right?
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of extra stuff. There was a lot of rookie cards.
Yeah.
One patch. I think we both kind of got lucky on the patches. Like, it's not like it's who's a lesser known.
100%. So, like, the box, for example, so we've got these Donruss, and they're, like, they're holiday cards, too, right? So they have, like, Christmas sweaters. But, like, so they're the 88 cards. This is kind of what it looks like, right? I think my brother opened, he got a Kenneth Gainwell. So it was like an Eagles running back sweater. And I was like, oh, there's a lot of crappy rookies out there. I was like, that's too bad. And then at one point he's reading through them and he goes, Mark Jones. I got Mark Jones. And I'm like, I don't know who that is. And he's like, he's a quarterback for the Patriots. And I'm like, Mac Jones? And he's like, oh, I just can't read. I'm sorry. And I was like, you got a Mac Jones rookie? And it was like all shiny and stuff. And then I pulled out like 2 minutes later, like a Mac Jones patch. And I was like, great. That's almost like the best card you could get. So, but I also got like a Jamar Chase variant and like a nice like Waddle. Like, so I don't know, these baseball cards.
Yeah, we can't, especially after a few beers, we can't talk about more cards because my instincts now are directing me to the nearest store to go, stock up.
If you live in Calgary, go to Walmart on Mackenziestown on 130th. It's fully stocked. Like, always has great card selection. So that's the one I recommend.
I got nothing in my local Walmart. Every time I go there. But you know what? Maybe I'll make the trip. Maybe not in today's weather, but maybe sometimes.
Deerfoot might be like a death trap, so I wouldn't go after 9 o'clock in the morning or before 9 o'clock in the morning. Just don't go.
Just when you got that buzz. That's that healthy buzz time when you're like, you know what? I'm not too drunk to drive, but I'm also a little... The edge is a little off.
Oh, 100%. Like, is that a snowdrift? Hit it at 120.
And that's the story of how Mick took my car, helped me dig my car out in university in my 7th year.
Yep. Awesome. So with that, great year. I don't know if there's anything else to say. Just kind of, hopefully next year is even better.
Well, the bar's low. We're going over the 2021 bar.
Down here, I want to be like right there. Not up here. Right there.
Yeah. Modest growth.
Nice. So that's Party On for the last time in 2021, Grant. Party on.
Party on, Mick. We will see everybody next week.